Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Okay, tonight we are going to dive straight into a bunch of code. We're going to finish up what we were working on last time, which was the partner coupon codes. More on that in a moment. And then a bunch of testing stuff. I've got the old T unit branch hanging out on the material design project that I'd like to get in and then get it ready for a release. There's been a lot of good fixes that have gone in. I realize I've neglected it a little bit of late as of doing a lot of Velopack work, but never fear, the project is not dead. I just have a limited number of hours in a day. If anyone wants to sell me a 24-hour day, I would love to have a chat with you. Okay, first, updatey things. First and foremost, Microsoft Build is coming up. This is Microsoft's one of their two big conferences every year. Build and Ignite are their big exciting ones, and we can see here, not shockingly, that AI, Copilot, and everything is going to be prime feature, right? All the way through here of all of the cool stuff. For Build, it's a little more developer focused, whereas Ignite is a little more, we'll call it infrastructure, ops, IT kind of related stuff. But again, those lines are real blurry, so it's like, there's you're going to get a little bit of that at both. And because Microsoft is on a huge AI kick, in case you haven't heard, AI is a thing. That will definitely be a central topic, especially since it made it all the way into the top. So, at a minimum, so Build is in Seattle Convention Center. It is a little spendy if you want to go in person. I will be in person. If anybody is there and wants to stop by and say hi, find me at the .NET Tools in the expert booth and stop by and say hi. I don't know exactly when I'm going to be staffing the booth, but that will be TBD. But I will be there and around. And I will have stickers if anybody is interested. So find me and get stickers because I will have a lot. I've got a whole bunch of stickers next. So if you want some, let me know. And then if you aren't able to go, at minimum, it's worth registering just for the online content because the vast majority of the sessions are going to be streamed and recorded. So as long as you sign up, you can get all of the virtual experience, even if you can't attend online because timing is bad or whatever. At least sign up so you can grab the recordings of some of the useful sessions. So those are absolutely going to be worthwhile doing. I think there's some like digital swag and whatnot too. Usually they do like desktop backgrounds and that kind of thing. So absolutely worth going. May 19th through 22nd, 2025. It'll be a good time. Next, if you are watching this and it is not past June 3rd, the Spokane.net meetup, we are going to go through C# kind of from a historical lens. My plan is to start at C# 1, literally the beginning, and run all the way up to C# 14, the one that is expected to release in November. So it's going to be, when we get to that one, it's going to be, here's what's probably going to land. Because C#'s open source and we can kind of guess and see what's there, but, you're never 100% sure until it actually ships. But just kind of exploring how we got to where we're at, kind of the evolution of C#. Like people get really hot and excited about the new upcoming languages and how exciting they are, and there's something to be said about modern languages built with kind of modern stacks and those types of things in mind. But C# is very well battle tested over the years. It's kind of the premier language if you're doing Microsoft stuff in a lot of cases. Like F#'s a thing, VB is a thing. Like those are other things that do work. And we've got, your Rust, your Go, the kind of the new hip languages. But in my opinion, C# is pretty good, and especially with all of the features and kind of understanding how we got there, because some features, they're real popular, then they wane, and they come back, and so it'll be an exciting one. I am really looking forward to this. And then finally, for anyone who is actually in Spokane, so this one is not online. The user group one, if you sign up, you'll get the YouTube link. Secretly, it'll be on Intelitech's YouTube channel. If you don't want to sign up on Meetup and you just want to find it there, you can do that as well. But this is in person only, GitHub Copilot Bootcamp. So think of this as a jumpstart for software development using GitHub Copilot. So it's going to be a lot of understanding how to use it best, code spaces, being able to build hands-on labs, all of that stuff. So it's going to be kind of a half-day situation. It is located at Intellitek's offices in downtown Spokane, you do need to register. But yes, local only. I'm sorry for all you people who are watching remotely. Okay, now for the interesting stuff. Velopack. So last time we were working on partner coupons. So brief primer. Velopack, free open source SDK and tooling, gives you an installer update framework. You can build and distribute your desktop apps. It's awesome. It's wonderful. Cross language, cross platform. Hoorah! Right. However, free open source. I was talking to some other developers, and their first question to me was, "How are you going to make money on it?" Not that they didn't think Velopack was awesome, but they were worried about the sustainability of it. I was like, we have an answer for that. So we have been building a SaaS hosting solution because the tooling will build you the installer, and it's got some upload commands to kind of put the installers up at different places. But at that point, we kind of go hands off and go, you know what? The hosting of this and managing of that, that's all on you. That's not something we're going to own. But for people who want us to own it and say, I just want to build my app, I don't want to think about hosting, I just want it to ship and go, we are building a SaaS hosting solution. And part of that is we've got some people who are interested in partnering with us, and we want our partners to be able to offer coupons to their customers when they buy things. So that's what we're building. The ability for a partner to come to Velopack to generate a coupon that the partner can give to the partner's customer, and then that customer can come to Velopack, sign up for our hosted solution, and use the coupon for some discount. Right? That's the game plan. So, what have we done? We did a bunch of stuff. So, last time we kind of kicked off building out this admin API and this partner API, right? So these two projects here is what we were starting to build. The admin API, meaning this is what people like me, people who work at Velopack, get to use to create partners, create the partner coupons. And then the partner API, the thing that the partner gets to call, that they then get to go through and get the code back. So that's where we are set up. We've got full integration test. All of those things are working. If we pull up, so this whole thing is built with .NET Aspire. I absolutely love .NET Aspire. Like, this is gold, right? Just this dashboard and having all of my stuff in one place and being able to restart services and that kind of thing, that alone is gold. Right, so I've got a database. I've got Azure running locally because I have Docker running off on another screen here, and that's what's hosting my SQL Server and my blob storage. I do not have persistence set up, but I do have the containers lifetime staying up. So the database stays up as long as I keep the container running. But then anytime I want to effectively clear my database, I just kick the container, and that's kind of like right now. I'm kind of happy at that level, right? Like I could configure it to have a persistent store so the database outlives the container's lifetime, but I'm like, I don't know. For local dev, this feels nice. It feels nice being able to go into a clean state whenever I want. So, yeah, we're rolling with that for the moment. So we come down here. We've got this admin API, and I am going to open up the admin API as a different browser profile. Oh, I already got it up. And the reason is because the admin API is like each of these APIs have a different level of auth, right? So the admin API is locked down to a security group in my Azure tenant for Velopack so that only people in my admin security group can hit it, right? Kind of makes sense. And right now, it's just me and my partner. That's it. We are the admins. We are the only ones who get to hit this API. But like, for example, I can hit partner list because I've already authorized myself. Whoop, we got no partners, right? So let's actually walk through what we've built so far. So we need to make a partner. So we'll come in here and we'll create, and we will call this, I don't know, test partner. Test partner. Great. Boom. Okay, now, a couple things. No one panic. Yes. Is this an API key? It is. But this API key lives in my local database on my local system. Not concerned, right? So as soon as I kick my database, A, this is going to get cycled, and B, you have to be on my system to make use of it. So yeah, we can get away with this kind of stuff. So, but first of all, I'm going to copy this because I'm going to need this later. And actually, let's do the time tested thing of oh yeah, that was just me playing with math. We're gonna just put it here because we might need this, and then we're gonna grab our partner ID because we're gonna need that too. Because as everyone knows, Notepad is the developer's clipboard. Yes, I have multi-clipboard turned on as well. All right, so we got a partner, huzzah! Right, if we go back and list it, right, we can see, whoop, test partner, huzzah! Great. Now we need to create a coupon code for this partner to be able to go through and use. And this coupon code requires using Stripe. So let me get a window over here. And let me get logged in appropriately and into my test environment. Again, we can powwow here because we can play in test. And it's not something I'm worried about anybody exploiting. Great. Okay. So I've got a my test sandbox for Velopack stood up. Got my product catalog. Please ignore the pricing TBD. But we've got a coupon over here. I've got a 50% off coupon for 12 months. Yay, that sounds like a great coupon. Okay, so we are going to grab the coupon ID, which I believe is this guy here. Yeah, same as what's right there. I'm going to put that on my clipboard too. Boom, just so I don't lose it. Okay, come back over here. There's my Stripe coupon. I need my partner ID, that GUID, and then I need a description, partner 50% coupon, something like that, right? Boom, post. Great. So I now have a working coupon. Great. So now this is the part where things get fun. So we come back over here and we go, okay, we've simulated and done the work of the admin. Now let's simulate being the partner. All right, so we're going to come over here and I'm going to launch the partner, and you'll know I'm in a different browser profile just for sanity. And for this, I'm going to need to enter an API key. Well, conveniently, we put that right here. Now, some of you may very astutely note something here in a second, right? So we authed, but this doesn't really do much. It just caches the value we gave it. And then we come in here, and then we got to give it a coupon ID. Now, I want to this. I spent a great deal of time working on this, so I feel the urge to show it off. Because this made my head hurt. And if people know an easier way, I would absolutely love to hear it. So I did some stuff. For starters, I banged my head against a wall repeatedly because Swagger UI has gone through several revisions. And unfortunately for me, what that meant is I had to dig through a swath of online information that was a mixture of different versions. And there's been like, trying to remember, there's like NSWAG and a few other people who have built real like similar things. And oh dear heavens, it was a nightmare to try to find something that worked. But here's what we know, right? You'll note I've got some debug statements in here for the moment. But if we go elements, right? So in this particular case, I've got this script here, right? Or I should say, this one's not mine. This is the one the Swagger UI generates. And so I went, oh, okay, I'm taking this, right? And because you'll note this is registering up on the window onload function because frankly, I couldn't figure out how to not have it do this. And so I gave up on it. But I did find where I could inject my own script blocks up in the head. And I went, you know what? We're going with it. So you'll note I had to include the Scripto library. So I brought that in. We'll explain why in a minute. And you'll note I have a set interval where I watch for the window UI property to get set, effectively using this to know when the other call has completed. Because the last thing this other one does over here, right, the last thing it does is set window UI. So I just wait for that. Like, you know what? Good enough. So set interval, blah, blah, blah. Spin, rinse, repeat, blah, 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 blah. We're off to the races. Right? clear the interval, and then the top part of this code, or I should say, most of this code setup is literally copied and pasted from that other function because I wanted to build a new Swagger UI bundle, and I could not figure out how else to set this request interceptor. Because this exists on the config that you pass into Swagger UI bundle. It does not exist on the UI as far as I could tell. Because I think you have to reconfigure the Swagger UI. And I couldn't find a way to reconfigure Swagger UI bundle and just add this. None of the samples I found worked. And digging through the docs and kind of going through their code, this is what I came to the conclusion of. Again, if people have a better solution, I am all ears. And the only reason for doing this is because I like using the Swagger UI as a way of testing, right? I wrote tests, and I'll show those to you, but I wanted effectively a JavaScript-y answer as well. So you'll note what it does is it requests the, it sets up an interceptor on the request outbound from the Swagger UI. And it watches for that auth header, because you'll remember we just pasted this in, and I will have you note this colon here, right? That's important. We'll come back to it in a minute. It waits for this. It splits on that colon, right? And then inside of here, it splits it up, because the first part is the ID, and the second part is actually the secret. So the big idea here is something called HMAC encryption. So when you, like, we could have just generated a random API key, given it to the partners and said, set this API key as your header, right? And that will give you auth. We could have done that. That is simple. I don't like that. And I don't like it for a couple reasons. One, if somebody ever intercepts that traffic mid-flow, they can just replay it as much as they want. That bothered me. I don't like that. I wanted some idea of when this thing was going to be there. With HMAC, when you hand them the key is never sent on the wire. What the key does is it sort of works the way HTTPS does, where you have an asymmetric encryption. There's a public key and a private key. And so the secret key is functionally the private key. And so what will happen is this will sign a signature. That signed signature gets sent to the server. The server unpacks it, also signs with the private key, and then checks and says, okay, do these match? And if the signatures don't match, it goes, nope, this wasn't signed with the same private key that the partner was given, must not have come from them, right? It also has this nonce thing where it, if it sees the same request multiple times, it goes, nah, I'm not taking that. So there's a lot of bits in there that make it a little bit more secure. Right? So anyway, log it out. We generate a nonce. A nonce does not matter what it is. It just needs to be unique. Couldn't care less what it is. It needs to be non-empty and unique. And then we need a timestamp. And then this here is that signature that we're building up, right? So the hashed ID is effectively the partner's ID. It's a way for us to identify who this thing is. And then we go through and we hash up the HTTP method, the full URL that we're going to, the timestamp, and the nonce, right? All of those things come together to be one. Some people will also include like the request body or similar. In this case, it's a little overkill. It's like, this is probably good enough, right? And then the big thing here is we base 64 encode our secret to get the bytes, because that's what the crypto.js wants. And then we sign this signature here gets signed with those secret bytes. The key part here, this secret key never gets sent on the wire. So anyone intercepting it will never see this, right? It could be compromised in other ways, but it won't be compromised by someone sniffing, right? So we get back the HMAC bytes, build it up, and then we send this HMAC header, which then will get read by the server. It will unpack this thing. It also has the secret key, so it can go through and validate that, yes, this thing was signed appropriately. That's the idea. Okay, so that gets sent on the wire, bippity boppity booyah, Bob's your uncle. Now, what we'd like to do is test to see if this thing actually works, because I haven't actually tested this beyond making sure the auth worked. I got through the auth and I went, yay, going to bed, because it was like 2 a.m. and I banged my head against this. I was getting ready to scrap it. And all of this just so that I can have Swagger UI effectively be my front end for this API. Right? So we're going to do this. Coupon code, we've authorized with our thing. We hit execute. We think for a moment. We naturally crash. My Stripe API key is not set. And so then it blows up and it dies. Okay, this will be fun because we're going to try to do this without me accidentally exposing my Stripe key. So that'll be exciting. The good news is if I expose it, it's only the one for my test environment, but I will be cycling it if that happens. So let's take a look at a few things. So thing one, I thought I had already set it up, but apparently not. So Stripe stuff, you set it up with a static call here. So API key equals blah blah blah. But I've got these Stripe options. And these Stripe options, I thought, were registered through some of my default Velopack services. So I have this Velopack service defaults. So if you do go through .NET Aspire, one of the things it will do is it will generate you, I think it calls it like a service defaults project. And it's worth noting, it gens that, but then it kind of goes hands off and says, that's your code, you do what you want with it. I took that and I'm like, nah. And I threw it inside this service core because I put a lot more in here than just my service defaults. Like this is, I've got 3 services, multiple background jobs, and they all need to share some stuff, like database models and all. Well, I guess database models live up here, but there's a whole bunch of extra stuff that they go with, and I just dumped it all in here. Yes, some of these things are only used by a couple of the services and not all of them, but Yagni, right? It's the minimal amount needed to get this thing up and rolling. So, but the service collection or service defaults gets registered here. Add Velopack services is invoked here. Add Stripe. Oh, that did not. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, so one, I put it in this add payments method and then never invoked the add payments method. So that's dumb to begin with. And then more importantly, I already have an add Stripe method, so I should probably just put it in there, because that would make a little bit more sense. Oh, and this has a memory cache built into it. Okay, whoa. Okay, I've got a weird thing going where I've got, okay, void, because we aren't using it like that. I am curious why I have distributed cache and memory cache being added. We're going to take a brief detour and figure that out, because this is iMemory cache, isn't it? Yeah, so where am I using iMemory cache? Memory cache here. What are you being used for? Oh, getting the plan IDs. Interesting. Okay, well, that's registered in the right place at least. I don't fully like that. Move to distributed cache. So I am doing something kind of weird, right? Like I am adding in an distributed cache, but I have this note in here that even though I'm registering a distributed cache, it's technically only an in-memory one, so it doesn't actually go anywhere. Hey, Izzy, no problem. And hey, if you have questions on any of that, let me know, and we can dive in further. Yeah, if anybody's curious, Izzy asked a question in the material design Discord channel about stuff. So, yeah, if you got any questions on it, let me know, and we can always take a look at it. Okay, so I think my issue was I had registered my options, and I just never invoked my method. Because this should go through and do it. Yeah. And this post configure is only here to support my local Azure setup, or my local Aspire setup. Okay. Let's see. What do you mean by that comment about replay attack? Oh, yeah. So the idea here with um, this one. So let me go and open up. So this is a basic because I use HMAC for a couple different places because we have API keys that the Velopack CLI tool will use. Terrible PLC project, you. Yeah. But what is important is this guy here. So this is effectively the backend code that gets called when there is an authorization header that gets passed that has that HMAC auth at the beginning. So this is where it pulls it apart. It gets all of these values out. And this is where that nonce value comes from. So the idea with a replay attack, if you could imagine something in like either your dev tools or Fiddler or Postman, effectively somebody's able to hit send twice in a row on the request and have it do something. The idea with a nonce is it's supposed to be a unique value. It forces the caller to generate something new on each of their requests so that you can't just hit the button twice. It's kind of like having a rolling code a little bit. Not quite equivalent, but conceptually. Of this idea that the same code once used can't be reused a second time. And so this replay idea down here, all this ends up doing is looking off in that I distributed cache to say, hey, have I seen this nonce before, right? And there's a allowed clock drift for the timestamp because we include both this nonce, which is a unique value, random unique value, doesn't matter what it is, and then a timestamp. And we've got some allowances for timestamps to drift and clock drift and that kind of thing. And so we store the nonces that we've seen for double the drift that we allow. There's some rules in kind of like sampling and number theory around needing to do things twice as much as the accuracy that you want, right? So if you, yeah, I think I said that right. I'm hoping I didn't. I'm trying to run it through in my head, see if I said it backwards. But in this case, we cache the nonce for twice our time drift because we know it won't full back. Yeah, and everything here is UTC. Because I'm basically running the clients here, I can force it in all cases, right? Get UTC now is every single one of these. The reason for my comment here about how this doesn't actually completely work is when I deploy out my service. Let's see, we'll go here, right? So if we just pick on do I have it here? I don't have it here. Container app service. Container app. I'm trying to remember where this is. I have my container app set to scale. And the issue is my container apps will scale up to multiple instances. And so when you do a distributed cache, the idea is you should have one cache and multiple instances of your service. But this is a distributed memory cache, which the only reason this thing even exists is typically for testing. And so at some point, I'm going to swap this out and probably plug in SQL or Redis behind it so that I have a common backplane to support this cache from. But right now, if somebody wanted to, distribute in that single instance. So yes, so distributed memory cache in this case is an oxymoron. It really isn't there, and it's this whole memory distributed cache is mostly an implementation provided by Microsoft, largely to support testing, right? Should only be used in single server scenarios, as this cache stores items in memory and doesn't expand across multiple machines. Or, in my case, Docker containers. So if this thing horizontally scales, which it does very aggressively, technically somebody could replay the attack until up to the number of instances that I scale up to, which I think I'm somewhere between like 5 and 10. So it's like, yeah, eh. I'm not going to stress about it right now. Again, not a problem I have at the moment. Right now, the risk factor is very, very low. So, and the worst case scenario is somebody gets a few extra coupon codes, assuming they compromise a request in flight and are able to replay it up to the number of instances I have before it scales. It just feels so like the risk, the amount to fix is going to be swapping out for a different provider. I just have to configure one. Yeah, you need a clustered storage backend cache. Yeah, and that's why it's not hard to plug it. Like it's literally going to be a one method call to swap out for either SQL or Redis behind the scenes. Yeah, SQL distributed cache is an option. The only thing that is slowing me down on doing that is on this project, I have terraformed all of my infrastructure, and I refuse to use any infrastructure that I haven't terraformed deployed. So I just need to do it. So this got me up and working, and it'll suffice for now because this is still even on a branch. This hasn't even merged into my dev branch yet. So it'll get there. That's why it's a fix this and clean it up in a minute because the risk factor is low and I just need to deploy some infrastructure to support it and then we're off to the races. Because I think SQL is probably the way I'm going to go just because some of the Redis stuff in Azure is a little spendier. It's like, ugh, I don't need it that much and this API is not going to be hit that much. Why not Tofu isn't Terraform like so yesterday? But I know Terraform, Izzy. That's the thing. I think Bicep would be my next one. Or Pulumi. Both of those hold a great deal of interest for me. Yeah, Pulumi if I want to do something a little more cross-plat stuff. Bicep because it's Microsoft and looks kind of cool. Like Terraform used to be the nice cross-platform option, and it still is. Like it, make no mistake, HashiCorp did a good job. Their licensing thing kind of annoyed some people when they did it, but it was like, it's less of a big deal unless you're making lots of money. It's like using scripts when you could use Ansible. I'm not saying you're wrong. Okay, so I think at this point, did I relaunch? No. Where's this thing running at? Hey, look, it's over here. Okay. I'm going to relaunch because I don't remember if that has the config change. Because I think this thing should now work. I think it should work. And I have my Swagger pages caching my auth, which is a blessing and a curse because I think most of them time out in like an hour. So it's really convenient when you're relaunching. It's really annoying at that hour mark when all of a sudden you start getting 401s. So let's see, partner API. We're still authorized, great. We need our coupon code, that thing. Ring. And then we hit execute. And hopefully, ooh, it worked. It worked. Wish I could still use Vault. UK government has more pennies to burn than I do. I totally understand, Izzy. I completely understand. Okay, I think that means if I look at my coupon, I should have a product code in here. Like, when I hit refresh, come on. And again, I'm okay showing this environment for Stripe because this is plugged to my local environment, nothing that's actually out in the world. Oh, look at that. It worked. It generated a promotion code. Yay. Yay. That makes me so happy. That makes me so happy. There's the promotion code, and then I think, let's see if we can redeem it. I think we can redeem it now. I mean, that's the whole point of generating these promotion codes. Let's keep going. Okay, so where's my front end? If I launch my front end, and now we'll pretend to be a customer. I'm gonna move it over here real quick while I do the signing on bits. Okay, I think I should be a completely empty. Yeah, because I think I torched my database. Okay, and it looks like I'm in prod mode for my front end. Okay, great. So if I go here and I go teams, and my team is on the free tier, and I go, well, wait a minute, I've got a coupon. I would like to upgrade, and I've got a coupon for the pro plan, because that's what I just generated. Whee! No, don't worry. This is Stripe. This is fake data. Don't panic. You'll note. I'm going to point this out before I get. Says some of you are very good at warning me when I accidentally expose my keys. This is okay. This isn't anywhere. So I can come in here. I don't want to do this. Where do I? Oh, add promo code. Bring. Apply. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Oh, hit the subscribe button. Oh, I'm so happy. My whole system works. It's working. It's working. Ding, 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 ding. And then here in a moment, what I should see. Ooh, 4 errors. What are my errors? Oh, those ones are okay. Those ones are okay. I know what those are. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Okay, so payment processor should run. And I should get a call back. Oh, it's so wonderful. Probably need to change the UI so that it warns people of what's going to happen. And now I'm on the pro plan at half price for the next 12 months. It works. It works. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so proud of myself. Woo, okay. Okay. So that makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Let me grab my tests. Oh man, we may merge and send this. Because the only thing I haven't done, I haven't tested the partner API in prod yet. Missing semicolon line 694. Oh, dang nabbit. Now I have to remember what file I had open. This one? 694. Source file only had 15 lines. Oh, dang it. Izzy, you're making me... I only have 2 edited files. Oh, sorry, joke. Okay. Hang on, Izzy. I did mention earlier that I was up last night until like 2:30 in the morning. If I seem a little slow on the uptake, it's because I'm running on caffeine. Okay, that makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Okay, so this was just the DI registration fix with a to-do. Great. Great, great, great. Boom. Do. You move me to the left. Let's see. Consolidates and clarifies registration services. No, this is not right. Let's see. Fix registration of Stripe options. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, because it does mean that some of my services technically over-register and add things to their DI container for services that they don't use. So because I have kind of consolidated it in one place to say all of my stuff is registering the same way, but most of them are using like at least 60% of the services. So at some point I may split those out and get them a little more dialed in so they don't over-register, but it's like, it doesn't matter, right? Shipping's more important than that. Okay, let me pull up on main, and then I think I just PR this beast. Trying to think if there's any reason why I wouldn't. Nope. Because the next step is making sure it works. And implementing partner coupon codes. Let's see. This adds in a new admin API and a partner API. Admin API can create new partners and coupons that the partner can use. The partner API allows a partner to create a new promotion code for the coupon. There. Send it. Full send. Enable auto merge. There we go. Because I've got a fairly decent setup. What? Hang on. Disable auto merge. Go ahead, Copilot. Impress me. See, this is an area of AI that I strongly disagree with. I get that the idea is to have AI provide code reviews, but it feels like if the AI could do the code review, why is it doing it at the PR time? Why is this not like before commit? Like, why is this not like shifted all the way left into the IDE, right? If the point is to help the author of the PR, put it where the author is working at the time they're working. Don't make them open a PR to get access to this. This is too late, in my opinion. If it's for the reviewer, I strongly disagree because all it's doing is it's like, well, we're going to catch the easy stuff before the reviewer gets there. No. Make the author see it earlier, and then you don't have this problem either. The reviewer wants to be made more efficient. The reviewer doesn't want to get replaced. So it's just weird. Okay, so deploy partner API. Then claim to have submitted a feedback. Did it? Come on. GitHub, why are you slow today? Pull request. Copilot reviewed 59 out of 63 change file and generated no comments. Now, is it just me? Why? What? Like, if a human said that they code reviewed my stuff and they reviewed 59 out of 63 files and then they stopped, I would question, like, why not the other 4? Was there a reason we skipped the 4? Like, this is kind of nice. Like, I like this type of thing. But, like, this is nice, but this is in the wrong place. Like, as a reviewer, I would not mind seeing this type of thing, like, I don't know, at the top of the file in the code review section, so that I kind of go into it with some idea of what the usefulness is, of what I expect to see. Oh, language not... So these are the ones that skipped. Oh, and see, I left an HTTP file in. Admin API. Discard, I guess? I don't know what the change was. Now I'm worried that I missed something. Admin API, I've got an HTTP file. What? Velopack admin API HTTP. Okay, it's not in my... Oh, is it? It's up here. Oh, you jerk. Wait a minute. Where did it say that thing was? Where did it say this thing was? Velopack admin API. Like there's no git changes here. Where does it think this file is? I'm very confused, Copilot. Like, I don't doubt if this thing may have been in one of the commits. Yeah, it doesn't exist on my system. It's been deleted. So let's skip the props file, an HTTP file, and a solution file, and this isn't even in the final thing. Interesting. It must do it commit by commit. Because it wouldn't have seen this file if it wasn't commit by commit. Because I initially had put the admin project in the wrong folder, and then I moved it down underneath the solution file. Did I miss anything? I don't. Okay, so I didn't miss anything. Okay. Build failed. That's not a good sign. What did I do wrong? Ah, crap. .NET test. Hang on. Lesson learned. Run all tests. So I do have snapshot testing on my APIs, which is the most obnoxious thing in the world, but it has been an absolute lifesaver from guarding me from accidentally shipping a breaking change. So they stay only because they've saved me like 2 or 3 times. And so, as annoying as they are, they've saved my bacon enough times that they have earned their right to live. For some reason, it always renders them backwards. Okay, so the create on the promotion code API was changed. That is completely expected. And we got rid of the 404 because that's no longer a... No, this is backwards. It's backwards. We added a 404 because it's now possible to not find it. Because before, we weren't even checking. And then create promotion code request is a new one. Something seems wrong here, though. Yeah, partner API. Let me go look at that real quick. Something seems a little off. I thought I had axed one of those. Yeah, you'll note there's no longer a model there. Is it just rendering the diff backwards? I always hate when I can't read it. Let me go and look. This guy here. Let's see. I hope PRAI doesn't get as annoying as my EV's lane control, which insists on either emergency braking or driving me into a pedestrian when it gets scared by a truck in the other lane. Yeah. Yeah. See, that's the thing is, and that's where I really have to lean on the idea of I like, yeah, this is what I want. I just have the diff backwards. I like when it's the co-pilot model and its purpose is to assist me and make me faster or better. Like, I like that. Like, I don't mind it generating those summaries per file. I just wish it put it at the point where me as the human wants to see it. Like, it's useful information. Put it where I want it now, please. Don't be an obnoxious person. Like, be helpful. Like that kind of thing I'm totally cool with. Let's see here. Let me go back. I want to check the test explorer. Let's see. And then this one here is the other one. But yeah, it's definitely one of those areas where I see it being somewhat problematic. Okay, and this was because I broke it up. So for people who watched last week, initially the partner and coupon were all just one big object, and I finally got annoyed with myself and realized that was stupid, and I broke them into 2 objects. Like once I thought about it, I'm like, they really should be 2 separate things. So this is just adding the CRUD for that. Okay, those are fine. And even though it's flagging me right now, it's not like this API is released. So, like, yes, it's a breaking change, but it's a breaking change for a non-released API. So, frankly, until you release it, totally fine. Okay, and then we'll just run this to clean it up. Yeah. Yeah, AI overlords work how to modify Git history. Yeah, and that's the thing is it's like I want I don't mind the AI help, and frankly, there's some cool stuff like the JetBrains writer. It's got a really cool three-way merge tool. Like as a Git Kraken fan, I'm a little jealous of Writer's merge tool because Writer can cheat. Because Writer's a full IDE, it has language semantics available to it, whereas most Git tools are doing text-based comparisons. So Writer's merge tool is actually slightly more intelligent because it knows, oh, right, it makes more sense if this is a method move or something of that nature, right? So because it can group things by blocks rather than just text-based. And so it does a more intelligent merge. It's just like, man, I really want that in more tools. But I totally realize what I'm asking for is like, for Git Kraken to do that, they would have to have a language model available to them. And by language model, I'm not talking LLM, but like something that generates a syntax tree so that they would have some concept of this bit of text is a method, this bit isn't, right? Like those types of things you can't do when you don't have that. But if you're a full IDE, you absolutely have that. So it's like, but I definitely would not mind like AI suggestions for merge conflicts. I do not trust it to do the merge correctly. And frankly, I don't need it making a more tangled mess. I'm good enough at that all by myself. I don't need help. Let's see. So using removal, update test, autogen. Don't like that. At some point, so for people who haven't seen this, this is worth noting. Like Git Kraken's new AI stuff is new, just to be clear. I think April's release was the first one that had it. And so expect more, but they do have this Git Kraken AI tools down here where you can put in custom instructions to tell it what to do. I think I like this one. At some point, like I've requested a whole slew of features for the AI stuff. The one really cool thing is if you want to bring your own API key, you can, right? And you can point it at Anthropic or OpenAI. But if you don't have your own OpenAI or Anthropic account, you can just go through their API. And so if you are on a paid subscription, you get an allotment of tokens per week, which is kind of nice that it's per week because when it's per month, if you burn them all up in week one, you're just like, oh, I guess I'm done for the rest of the month. But if it's like per week, it's like, yeah, let's use them. Like they're going to reset on Saturday, they reset, Sunday, I don't know. It's sometime around the middle or the end of the week that they reset. It's like, oh, cool. Actually, hey, there we go. Resets April 26, 5 p.m. I think that's UTC. So 2 days, so end of Saturday. Yeah, so I've always used Beyond Compare, but was looking at semantic merge tool several years ago, which did something similar. Yeah, and I will say for really ugly merges, a good tool like that is kind of nice. It is very nice. The one thing I will say that Git Kraken does, this preemptive conflict detector kind of guards you against the ugly merges. The only thing it doesn't, because it gives you at least good heads up to, oh, if you're constantly rebasing, and people aren't doing like major, like big commits all the time, and coming to the table 3 days later of I did all these changes, right? Like this is fairly nice to be able to warn you of that ahead of time. But there are times where it's like you're doing work and you know it's going to be a sucky merge. Like you're going, whatever you're doing, it's like, yep, this is going to suck. Doing it anyway. Right? Like, yeah. So it's like, I wouldn't mind AI assisted suggestions, especially if you're doing an ugly merge and it does like the Copilot thing where it sees the change and realizes, oh, I see how you're fixing this. Let me be mildly intelligent and help you. Right? I don't need you to be all the way intelligent. Mildly intelligent is good enough. Okay, so this guy should kick off again. Yeah, thanks. You are... This still bothers me. I might have to submit some feedback on that. Kind of annoying. But it is good to know that the Copilot one goes file by file. So that's interesting. Or I should say commit by commit. Okay, so we're going to let that guy rock and roll. And then he should finish. A quick side check. Do you know of any on-premise NuGet repositories? I don't think Microsoft has a server version of Azure Container Repos, but as a Microsoft VIP, you might know. Let's see. So I think MyGet lets you host. They have private ones, and I think their enterprise lets you do on-prem hosting. Because I assume that because you want on-prem repository hosting, and maybe I should clarify, Izzy, does it need to be on-prem or does it just need to be private? Because if all you need is private, like an Azure Artifacts feed will get you that pretty easily. I don't know. Project demand storage. I don't know that it offers you a thing. Technically, depending on how much of a glutton for punishment you are, like, is this it? Yeah. So you technically can grab the NuGet stuff is out there if you want to run it, but like this is a NuGet package, not like a Docker container. I don't think they have. Let's just go look. Let's go look. I don't think that there is a self-hosted one out there. No, I don't know that anyone's actually stood one up because it's not like NuGet.org just is a simple Docker container that they spin up and run. Like there's a needs to pull from all things. Yeesh. What is Nexus? Is it? Oh, it's Nessus? What's the name of it? There is one. Let me look real quick. Because there is a. I need. Yeah, come here, code. I need you over here. Let me open folder. I need to open something private, but let me look because I do work on a project that has private feed. I'm trying to remember what it's pulling from. It's like Nessus or Nexus. Nexus. Thank you. Yeah, that because there is a project I work on that does not look right. I don't know if it has upstream management, but it absolutely supports on-prem hosting because the project I'm using it on, they host it on-prem. Yeah, this AI looks about right. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. ProGet before. Yeah. And honestly, I have this idea floating in my head. And I'll say it out loud because maybe I'll get someone else to build it for me. Because part of me wants to build it, and part of me wants somebody else to build it for me. So I have this idea. There are a number of open source developers, right? Like the latest one, right? If we go here, yeah. So for people who haven't seen this, Jimmy Bogard posted this recently, April 16th, about moving AutoMapper mediator licensing. And I believe this one he calls out, a dual license model, which is not unlike a handful of other open source projects that have done similar, right? Where there is a free open source license available for open source developers, indie developers, basically nonprofits. If your company is small and you aren't making money, free, right? Like you're not looking to nickel and dime people. It's really hey, I've got a $3 billion company that's using my stuff. Why are they why am I spending a bunch of my time to support them when they aren't kicking back anything to pay for that kind of support, right? And so it's this dual licensing model, and this has been a really hot topic for open source devs. And to be clear, I am not planning on changing. Like, I always hate when open source projects change their license. That bothers me. What I am more likely to do is maybe a future project, maybe I don't start it open source, right? Like there's a bit of that. Like I would not be opposed to that, but there's not a good way out there for people who want to commercialize, say, a library that they're building. There's not a system out there for it. Like there's no good way to do it. And part of me was like, man, what I really want to do is have somebody stand up a NuGet feed that's auth behind an API key that people can effectively buy subscriptions to access the packages that they need on this system, right? And then the system maker who's hosting it, they'll take a percentage cut to maintain the hosting and all of that jazz. But then a good chunk gets to go to the creator of the package, and they can choose how to price their stuff. And then everybody wins, right? And it gives an opportunity to have something out there, right? And even if it's like, hey, we're going to leave the project open source, but if you want somebody to package it up in a NuGet feed, you're going to pay for that, right? Like that takes time and effort for me to keep all of that up and running. If you want to, take the source and fork it, have at it. But if you want somebody to manage the packaging for you, you got to sign up for a key or something. Like it feels like something like that could be really nice. But I think everybody intrinsically knows that that's going to be an infrastructure heavy project and nobody wants to take the responsibility of it. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, feels like it could be a nice thing to spin and do. Feels like something somebody bigger than me should do, but darn it, I'm not seeing anyone step up. So I'm kicking ideas around. The Nexus OSS Community Edition, but sadly, my Nexus was on a Windows machine that decided to fix a Newtonsoft CVE without the .NET redirect bindings, and now nothing works. Oh, I am sorry. And the fact that you say .NET redirect configs makes me assume binding redirects and .NET framework, which makes me say double sorry, Izzy. Let's see. Squash merge, send it. Full send. So this thing should be out on my production environment very shortly. Whee! And it go. And I have all of this stuff, and it's going to deploy, and it's going to work great, and it's going to work the first try, and I'm not that stupid. So we'll come back to this. At a later point. Okay. Put that off to the side and let it go powwow and have fun. Okay, let's go back and have a little fun with testing, I think. So, material design project. Because I've got a handful of projects that I realized I'm way behind on. Also, I apologize for everybody waiting on the YouTube videos. If you're watching this on YouTube, hi. Sorry for the delay. All of my automation broke. I blame Google. They foo-barred everything on me. But I did get a video posted today, and I've now got things in a pipeline, and like the next 2 weeks, there's probably going to be a video dropping every 3 days. Okay, so let's get my master synced up. And then I want to grab my full screen dialogue. Corvin. That's cool. See, this is why it's cool to have a UI graphics because I can see what's being worked on all the remotes that I have, and there's some cool stuff coming. Let's see. Are there pull requests pending a review? Let's see. Uh, Nothing awaiting my review. There's only 3 open. Okay, so this is the one that I want to go through and fix. I think it's back here. Yeah, test all compile, and we just need to rebase this sucker up here.
Yeah, it's fun as all the config consoles are broken, so no settings can be changed. But it also means BitLocker screwed up my external backup drive due to company requirements of rotating the pin every 30 days.
Oh, oh, Izzy, you are flirting with the idea of just torch and start over. You are dangerously close to that being a worthwhile endeavor. Generally not. Generally, it's not something I recommend to people. Okay, so let's see. Control Shift E. Boom. Karnak running. Realize that. Okay, so this guy is compiling and the tests are passing. However, if I remember right, the failure here was the. I drag this sucker over here. The issue was the warnings from not forwarding things through, and I think we were going to try to regex our way to victory. I think was the game plan. Let me go look. I think that was the game plan. Regex to victory. Yeah. See? Yeah. And this I think was dang. Corvin's literally wrote the entire regex for me. Okay. Well then. Let's give it a run. I would only if I had another 40 terabyte drive to copy the other files for manual backups. Yeah. I mean, you don't just keep 40 terabyte drives sitting around, is he? I mean, there's a handful of people I know that might legitimately do that. I've got one buddy who's a sysadmin for, we'll say, a largish financial company, and I somewhat envy his closet. Like, he's got his own little server closet in his apartment. It's nice, especially considering it's just him. It's a lot of server closet for one guy. Just saying. He's got a preset closet. Okay, so let's go here. Replace some files. We're gonna find this. We're gonna go back here. We're gonna see how close. We're gonna see how close this gets me. And then I do not want to do the entire solution, please. Current project. And then we need regular expressions. And then you send it. I do in my garage. See, Izzy, I am not in the least bit surprised. You are one of the people I can see having an absolutely sick home setup. I will have one too, hopefully by the end of the year. Hopefully. This weekend, my plan is to spend time building my storage area in my garage so that my wife can finish unpacking a bunch of stuff from our move. Right now, it's all just kind of stacked and in an obnoxious situation. And once that is done, then I can come back to working on my office area. Okay, so that just needs to go like that. And then let's see. Because this is assert that. Because this is assert that. So I need to do await. Assert that. Selected index is equal to 0. But I think this is the the T unit way. Which I will say, that is the only thing about this that gives me a bit of pause that I don't fully like. Because it's always been expected actual, expected actual. Like my muscle memory is always expected actual, and this is actual expected. It's like, so close, so close. Like I get it. I do think it is quickly becoming my favorite testing framework. So I will say that. Like I don't want to disparage it too much because it is um it is very good in my opinion. But it is
Like 47U rack to my left, 3D printers to my right, and I'm stuck in the middle with the overflow freezer.
That's kind of cool. I actually got my I do not have 3D printers. I only have one. It's just an Ender 3 Pro, but it is zero. That looks correct. It's pretty cool. Test context current. Why do you think current might be null here? Test context current. How did we... Why? I mean, I get why test context current is probably nullable returning, because if you use it outside of the context of a test, it's probably null. Like that gives me... I'm really tempted to just null bang these. I think is what we're going to do. Because I think these guys are going to bite me. And you only have to do the first one in every test, but I have a feeling I'm going to have to chase a bunch of them.
The 2 Ender 3 V2s and a Bamboo X1C. Ooh.
Bamboo is nice. That's the dream setup. I was talking with a guy that 3D prints stuff and then goes to various festivals to sell his wares. And he was showing off his bamboo printers to me, and I was getting a little jealous. Because they're nice printers. They're very nice. The Enders are great. Bang for your buck, I think they're a very solid choice. But they are definitely the printer for somebody who wants to tinker. Dude, custom 3D printer, 600 millimeter cube build volume. That's huge. That is huge. I was actually surprised because normally I would have thought, oh wow, full custom printer. But given like the 3D printing space is weird because everything was patented for so long, there's actually a decent amount out for like DIY printer bits. Like I was surprised. Like especially like the Enders, there are so many. Why is my mouse just lagging like crazy? What is going on?
Thing is taking all of my juice. Um,
Get Kraken is doing something.
I don't know what, but I would like it to not be using gigs and gigs of RAM. So I don't know what it's lost its mind doing. Oh, it's not Get Kraken.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I launched Visual Studio as a child process. Oh, that is interesting. Let's terminate that. So it shows up as a Get Kraken chewing memory when it's actually not Get Kraken's fault.
Okay. Shockingly, that made things better. Let me just launch Visual Studio outside of it. That is interesting because it's a child process.
That'll be cool, Izzy. When you get that thing up and working, shoot me a picture of it because I'd love to see it. Okay, so let's fire this guy up, and
Once he's done restoring packages, off to the other side. I was actually chatting with another streamer earlier today because I am weird. Like I am streaming from the same machine that is running Visual Studio. I don't have a second streaming box. I'm not cool enough for that. I also don't really have a secondary machine that I think is capable of running streaming for me, even though I know it's not that much. Um, but they're like, oh, really? Like, when you hit compile, it kills your frame rate. And I'm watching like about 200 kilobits per second, at least according to OBS. Okay. This shot me in the foot in a couple places. So specifically everywhere where I already had it, it's going to be problematic. But that wasn't that many places, apparently. So, there's that, tab. And then I think I'm going to end up having to fix all of the warnings, though. Yeah, that's going to be annoying. But I don't know of a bet. Like, at some point, I think I just have to bite the bullet and get this done. And I'd kind of like to get this all the way done, because it would be very nice. At some point, I'm going to go through and convert all of my Velopack tests over to T unit because I love it so very much. Like, it's gonna be obnoxious, but I don't know of a. There's never a good time to change test frameworks. But T unit feels so much faster that I have a hard time not thinking that it'll pay dividends in the long run. I actually am also planning on, for my .NET new templates, I'm planning on adding in an option, because I've already got, I think, a dash no tests, I think is what it's called, on there, for if you don't want it to gen you unit tests, because sometimes you just don't care, right? You're doing a sample or whatever. Tests aren't needed. Like, tests are not always a requirement. I think they're useful in a lot of cases, but they are not a requirement by any means. But why is this solution just lagging my system out? I do not understand why my mouse is. I'm gonna put this to. Let's see. Replace. Let's see. XT currency. Yeah, I thought about that. The only thing that I don't like about doing that, JC, is you only need to do it on the first instance of the test, and I only see 35 of them. So it's like, so I think I might just hand do them. Like, I don't like using the null forgiveness operator. Like, I think it needs to be used gingerly, and only when it's justifiable. Which in this case, I think it's very justifiable. And it's only a problem for me because warnings as errors are enabled in the pipeline, and so it will fail my PR, which is just lovely. But like, I don't want to change that. Like, it's the warnings as error has saved me a number of times, so it makes sense to make it better. But this will bring everything back in line, and hopefully make everything just a little bit nicer for people. Yeah, you can see even the compiler knows that if you get past this first one, the subsequent ones aren't problematic. I'm mildly tempted to do like a base class cancellation token thing, since all of these guys share a common base. I could totally do that. And then I would only have to null bang it in one place, but then I have to go through and change all the references, and I'm like, that adds a layer of ambiguity. And occasionally I will do things on the material design project that may not be as absolutely clever and as nice as they could be, but they are simpler for people to understand. Because one of the strengths, I think, of this project is I've tried to spend a little bit of time thinking through what makes it easy for people to contribute to the project. Because as an open source project, ideally, like, for people who haven't been paying attention, Corvins has been absolutely killing it on PRs, issues, responses, like, absolutely knocking things out of the park. And this project kind of goes in ebbs and flows like that, where there are people that come in that are really eager to help, and because it's set up in a way that makes them feel as though they can help, they do.
So I there is a benefit to me to doing things in a way that may not be the most clever, but it encourages people to help out on the project. Because I think that's the spirit of open source is people being able to contribute to it. So I want to leave it in a situation. Okay, see, this is where you're inside of a visual element. You have to be inside of a test. Yeah, just being able to open VS and compile helped me. Yeah, and when I first started on this project, there was like a lot of projects have like this setup that you have to do from the README and go through these steps. I'm like, I don't want that. I want clone F5. I can't make it much easier than that. But that's usually my target is to have as few dependencies as possible. And I can't like I've actually contemplated having like an alternate build setup where where it only loads in the newest framework in the CS projects, and then like on the pipeline I do something clever to swap out and put in the other ones, but it makes for a poor dev experience locally because it's like some people don't want to have to install like 3 different frameworks. Like that's obnoxious. Um, but I don't know a good way around that one yet because it's like yeah I could make that work, but then when I'm trying to do development and target cross-plat stuff, it's somewhat problematic. Okay, so I think that handles all of the null ref ones. Let's see. So these are all net 6 ones. Because we rev to 9.0 NuGet packages, there are warnings that they are not tested with net 6 and may not work. I'm going to ignore these. Thought about breaking out demos into a separate repo and then submodule them back in. Yeah, I actually considered that at one point because I have my I've got my examples repository, which is not it's not quite demo apps, but it's all my individual bits of when people have asked me questions, I'll just like because some questions are just easier to answer with a full project rather than just like a one file situation. So it's just easier if there's a full thing there. And I've considered separating those things out just to make them a little bit easier. The only thing is submodules are difficult for a lot of people to manage. Like one of my prior employers, they love submodules. They used them for everything, and so whether I liked it or not, I was going to learn them. But I did notice that every time they brought in a new dev, it was not a well known thing. Not like some people are great with submodules, but they do make Git is already kind of complicated, and they add another layer of complication on there. So it makes things slightly more interesting for people. Like the most common error that I see on open source projects with submodules is somebody goes to contribute and they don't initialize the submodule. Because they're not using Git Kraken with a nice pop-up that says, hey, would you like to initialize the submodules now? And so they don't realize there's a second step, right? If you just straight clone a repo with a submodule, you don't get that nice feedback that says, hey, you've got a submodule here. You need to do, get submodule in it. And then you end up getting host and you get bug reports of, hey, there's no demo projects despite the fact that the solution references them. It's like, well, yeah, they're there. You just gotta hit them right. Okay, so what did I change here? Okay, so that's fine, and then all of those are fine. Autocode, write the commit message for me. I do not want. This is one thing. Actually, you know what? We're gonna try something. I don't like that this. Um, Let's go here. Let's see. When we are commit message, do not attempt to explain the why. I'm do not attempt to explain why a change was made. Only report what was changed. Okay. I am sick and tired of that thing doing that. Great. Send it. Okay, so that should get that up and going. Force push that. Force push that. I really need to tick that. Do not. I want to be able to hit that do not ask me again after I click the button. Okay, so that gets me to there. That gets that going.
Check over here.
Hey, Velopack deployed all the way out. Huzzah. Okay, great. I will go and test that later.
Because that is production, and that will require actually generating real stuff. So
That I don't really want to do on stream because
that's going to involve some
secrets to be on my screen, and I just feel like that's a recipe for me to shoot myself in the foot. So
I will
do the same type of test that we did before. Okay. Next thing that I want to do. Well, that guy is chugging away. Because you should now. Why are you not? You already failed out? Failed after 2 minutes. Really? Uh, 96 airs. What did this seriously already run and fail out on me? Where's the timestamp on this? Let me look at the action. Did it push? Cancellation token to async delays. Looks like it did. Commits. Oh, this is the wrong. This is the. Oh. Let's see. Updating test to use T unit and MTP. So I've got. I was looking at the. I forgot I had opened up 2 PRs because this was revving to X unit V3 and MTP. Ah ha ha. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. I think we're going to go with the. Let me check my commits because I think the X unit ones. Yeah, there's X unit and then there's the MTP or the T unit change. Okay. So I think we're going to kill PR1 in favor of PR2. 3838. Closing in favor of 3838. Let's see. Close. There. And that. Okay. Now that guy should get going. Okay.
put you off to the side. Add you to my queue of things to look at. Okay, now
Switching gears one more time because why not? Close this guy down. Okay. So I want to fix this. Let's see. We might merge a couple PRs here. This is just revving all of these. Do changes, approve. Yeah, if anybody wants to see an insane pipeline, go check out Velopack's setup. It's kind of ridiculous because we have to compile on 3 different machines in order to build a NuGet package. Let's see here. So what are we revving? I will say, the Revolut stuff is not bad. It's really not that bad. It's like Dependabot is obviously my default setting, but I was skeptical on this one, but it's actually been rather nice, and it does a good job. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. And for anybody using Velopack, just know that there's likely a release forthcoming in the not too distant future. Because there's been a number of bugs that have been solved in the preview builds. So I was helping somebody even earlier today that ran into an issue with VPK, and it was something that had already been fixed a while ago. Okay. I want to get some of these things merged. Okay. So this guy is failing. We've got compile errors, merge problems. We're going to fix this. I want to get this guy up and rolling. It's still waiting for Kalen's final review and approval, but I think we will get there. Okay, I need to start closing some of these things down. I'm getting annoyed at all this stuff I have open. There. Okay, so let's actually, before I get too carried away, let me look at what my changes are before I just torch them. I don't think I need any of these. No, these are things from a conversation we were having. Okay. Let's see here. So I want to grab my MSI branch, set local here, and then we are going to rebase you up to here. We'll take it a hot minute because, in case you didn't notice, there was a long string of commits there. That's exciting. And then we'll move the example branch up here in a moment. Okay, so if we are looking at okay. So specifically, the previous one was failing, and I believe it was not a difficult problem. It's failing on Mac because I'm calling a Windows API in a I'm calling a Windows API without appropriately tying it down to Windows. So Rust source lib 5152. Let's see. Source lib. Right? Am I source lib Rust source lib rs? That's not. Failed to resolve use of undeclared crate or module windows. Yeah, so this needs the Windowsy bit added to it. I don't remember what that is, so we're just gonna pin this guy here for a second. We'll come back to him in a minute. The other one has it. Let's see, and this is the same file, 68. Let's see here. Help trait open options ext, which provides custom flags implemented but not in scope. Perhaps you wanted to import it. Maybe. That is a definite maybe. So the we are not using it anywhere else. So I'm going to go with probably not the solution we want. There it is. This is the magical bit. See, I knew I'd find it. Um, yeah. So what's going on in this code is, in an attempt to determine whether a directory is writable, we basically try to open a file inside of it. But Windows has this cool file flags delete on close. So we basically just try to open the file handle, and as long as we don't get rejected, we go, well, I had write access enough to create the file. We're going to assume we've got write access to this directory and carry on, right? Because it's probably accurate enough. Revolut. No, yeah, I think I said that wrong. It's renovate, I think is the renovate. I think is what it is. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, because it supports NPM, Java, Python, .NET, Scala, Ruby, Go, Docker, and more. 90 different package managers. Again, think of this very much like it's a Dependabot clone thingy, right? So if what you are looking for is to keep your dependencies updated, it has a lot of nice options. Again, Dependabot is, I think, catching up. These guys existed before Dependabot, so they have a head start. But they also have like enterprise plans and that kind of thing. So if you need Dependabot with lots of extra features, check it out. It was weird because I was talking with one customer and they commented, they're like, "Oh yeah, well it doesn't work with .NET," and I'm like, what? I'm totally using it with .NET. I don't know what you're talking about. Something seems very not right with that statement. Yeah, here's the link if you want it, Izzy. Okay, so Cutie, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Uh, well, so I have been all over the place tonight. At present, I am attempting to fix a pull request that I did on Velopack. Which, actually, that's not the pull request. It is this guy. Hopefully you had a good stream earlier. I saw you were gaming when I was prepping my stuff for tonight. But yeah, working on that PR, which there's some Rust in it, there's some C# in it. It's all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah, it was an interesting stream. Good interesting or bad interesting? Interesting can go one of two ways. There's a handful of things. Yeah, so in this case, I'm just trying to fix a couple issues because I run on Windows, so I never notice when there's Mac build errors. So in this case, apparently I tried to call Windows APIs inside of code that's reachable on Mac, and the Rust compiler said, no, that's a bad idea. You're an idiot. It said it in nice words like failed to resolve, but that's effectively you're an idiot. Which is fine. I understand, but I believe that the magical incantation here will be that will fix one of them. I believe. Problem is I can't test it. I just got to basically, because I don't have a Mac to build on, so I just got to push and I'll let the Mac and GitHub do it. Super interesting, super excited about the new stuff that came out, but didn't really like any of the new content. Oh. Yeah. Well, that's half of being a developer is getting used to the computer telling you things. And then the enlightenment point is when you get to tell it that it's wrong. Most of the errors are unreadable. I know. I will say there's a handful of tools that I use where it's very clear that it's written by developers for developers because developers will sneak in verbiage like that of yeah, you moron, don't do this. It's like ha ha ha. It's refreshing because yeah, most of the time it reads very bionic like and nobody likes that. No, nobody wants to be talked down to by a machine.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they were. There was one I ran into recently in the Git CLI.
I'm blanking on what it was. Absolutely blanking on it. Yeah, I don't remember. At some point, I'm hoping to get back, and I may. They because I very much am a fan of the Sniper Elite franchise. Partly because the early ones, I think before 5, they were all single player only. I think 5 or 4 was the first one that added co-op to it. And I picked it up partly because it was single player, and it meant that I could just kind of pause and shut it down whenever I needed to. Um, Lots of the MDX. Oh, JC, you're ruining my night. Okay, let's go fix them. Thank you. Thank you for watching those. Let's see. So this one. So let's go take a look. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Oh, wow, you were right. Uh, oh, oh. I wonder if these things are all kicking off in parallel. Izzy, go have a good night or good day. Don't work too hard. Enjoy your Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Do something fun. Oy vey, I bet you T Unit's trying to run all these tests in parallel. Because we didn't change these tests. I'm betting it tried to, because XAML test will very much not be okay with tests running in parallel. Okay. I bet you that's the issue. I thought we had set something before. Let's see here. I thought there was, let me go back up here. Where's his doc page? He's got a nice docs page. Build passing, last commit, closed issues, sponsor. Where is the oh. There's dependency injection in here? I'm falling in love with this more and more. Oh, T Unit, you are going to make me a very, very happy person. Okay. Note to self. Microsoft dependency injection data source. Oh. Well, I can tell you what's going to happen. Automocker is about to get an update. Not in parallel. That sounds like what I want. By default, TUnit tests will run in parallel. Yeah, I'd like to turn that off. At least on a project level, if I could, please. Yeah, so TUnit, well, so in the .NET space, there were kind of 3 big players for unit testing. There was the Microsoft testing one, which has gone by MS Test, Visual Studio Test, Microsoft Testing Framework, because their naming sucked, but it was all effectively similar or oftentimes grouped. There was N unit and there was X unit, and I think though, like there was a handful of others that were out there, but those were the big three. And so I would usually tell people, pick one of the big three. You'll be fine if you stay in the well tested land. T unit is the new kid on the field, and it got rebuilt with some of the latest C# features with source generators, and it just I fell in love with it quickly. But yes, absolutely a testing framework. Yeah, don't forget to push the force push button. Thank you, JC. Have a good day at work. Parallel limiter. I want to turn. Ahaha. If you want to do a global limit on an assembly, you can do this. Well, that looks like exactly what I want. I would like to limit it for an entire project. That sounds like exactly what I want. So let's do that. I am still on that branch. Did I close it? That was dumb. Give it to me back. There we go. Yeah, I'm on the right branch. Okay. So this project here, I absolutely want to make sure that it runs. I do have a parallel limiter. We did this before. Well, that's not making me feel warm and fuzzy. We had a parallel limiter attribute. You'll know the generic argument. Yeah. As a public empty constructor, it'll try to eagerly run when it allows it. So the upper limit is unknown. Great. Like that's, in most cases, this is nice, right? T-unit says, I want all of your threads. I would like to run as fast as humanly possible. Other tests without this attribute may run alongside them still. Oh, I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that is a problem. Let's see. Other tests with a different type of parallel limit may also run alongside them still, but limited amongst themselves. So they're grouped based upon your generic type. Okay, great. Be aware that limits are only shared among tests with the same parallel limit type. Great. As long as it isn't overridden on a test or class, then this will apply to all tests in the assembly and be shared among all of them, limiting blah, 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 blah. Okay. You mean troubleshooting doesn't fill you with joy? Solving a bug fills me with a great deal of joy. I absolutely love it when it feels like you sniped a bug from 1,000 feet. Like, that feels great. That is awesome. Like, when somebody gives, like, I love it when I get, I'll say that it can be frustrating. The bare minimum amount of information needed in a like a bug report, and it's just enough to be able to figure out exactly what's going on, right? Like when it's just barely enough. Like I've got a couple colleagues, we will do what I call spot the bug problems, where when we finally track down a bug, we'll usually like screenshot the area and go, okay, where's the bug in this code? And sometimes it's real hard to see. Like, and more importantly, like I've got one colleague, we get made fun of a lot because we give each other crap all day long. But we will oftentimes blame each other for failures before even looking at it. And I can assure you, if I do a git blame and I see his name on the line, oh, heck yeah, I'm screenshotting that and sending it to him. Because nothing fills me with greater joy than sniping the bug and realizing he was the cause of it. That makes me very happy. Very, very happy. Okay, so this, it doesn't tell me what to do here. Because we did exactly what they did in their sample. I literally duplicated this. I guess maybe the question is, I'm making an assumption here. I am making an assumption. Test failed at It's so weird that so many of these would fail. So let's just run one of these tests locally and see, like, obviously running it by itself in isolation. If I just run one of these, let's just make sure the test works in isolation, because maybe there's an issue with how this thing launches. I don't think my, because the testing, there's a testing framework like that iVisual element that's right there. That's from my own testing library that I built called XAML test, which I built specifically to test this library. I don't think there's an issue with it. It's it's very agnostic. Like, it has no expectations on. Why is it? Is it running? What are you doing? Run test. Test run aborted. Huh? Find yourself. Figure it out. Right? Because we're just gonna pick on the auto suggest box test. Right? I just want to see one of you work. I mean, that looked like success to me. The thing even it even has a pretty green success. Okay. What if I run a group of them? I'm only being hesitant to run the entire project because I know running the entire project takes like 5 minutes. Oh, interesting. I'm seeing failures. Oh, well look at look at that. You did fail. Got legit failures. This one just fails straight up. Failed to find child element. Uh, well, that is there. What concerns me is this is line 111, 115, 111. So it's failing on apples. Now, aside from them being a fruit that starts with A, why would it fail here? It's also interesting to me that I don't see this thing enabling, which also gives me a bit of pause that I might be having a tooling problem. Could be a tooling problem. Well, let's see if we can debug this sucker. So let's see here. So up here, we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna put in a constructor, and then let's see, attach debugger to remote process false. So I want to stop here, and I would like to see what the heck is going on in my UI at the point we reach that breakpoint. So when it starts this, there's a separate process that the app will launch in, separate from the unit test. And so when the unit test hits a breakpoint, it will pause. But because I'm not attaching my debugger to that remote process, it will leave the app free to run on its own. I do not understand why my right click button does not. Something is weird. Something is very weird. I do not understand why that is not working. I do wonder if because I'm on a preview Visual Studio. Okay. Validate other items are hidden. Okay. Like it's working. So this assert exists. Suggest in this box. Is there a... Sorry, I'm just... What is the directory packages change? Like, we didn't rev XAML test at all. Like, there hasn't been a release. I'm the author. I would know if I released it. Still have... Something is giving me weird vibes. Wonder if these packages are being referenced anywhere. Microsoft Test is 17.9. That is actually, you make a very good point, Loka. Let me just do a quick. So I'm gonna nuke X unit from there, and then let's see which of these things have updates. Because I have Dependabot, but it only fires once a week. Any day, Microsoft. Any day you'd like to load, that'd be great. Value cannot be null version range. I'm sorry, what? You want to give me any clues as to where that might be? No? That too helpful? Why are you showing no changes? There really no changes in here? Are they all white space changes? Show any. Dismiss. Refresh. Error occurred. Value cannot be null version range. Okay, let's back this sucker up. I wonder if there is still a reference to X unit hanging around somewhere. Maybe okay. So I two theories. Two theories. There is an X unit runner still floating around somewhere. Okay, I wonder. Okay, theory. There is something X Unity still floating around in the project, and it needs to die because I've got two things trying to run at the same time. Look at that. We got a lot of updates. A lot of updates. Okay, so who is still referencing X unit? WPF tests. No, it's not. Oh, that's colors. Kill that off. And then the X unit runner. I am wondering if it's having the dual runners that are the key problem children. That is my theory, is that I've got a cross talking test runners that are hosing me and making my life miserable. And then I think we'll rev, assuming this builds. What are you squawking about? One vulnerable package. Show me the vulnerable one. Oh, I hate this. The transitive dependency. Okay, we'll deal with that in a minute. Okay, let's deal with the build problems after doing that. Oh, this entire project hasn't been updated yet. Why did I think I had done this whole project? I haven't done this project yet? Oh my word. I thought I was a lot closer than I was. Okay, let's grab the T unit had a lovely migration thingy-mabobber. That is the technical phrase for it. Running your first test. Where was the Uh, X unit. There was migrating from X unit. Thank you. So these were the steps. Yeah, thingamabobber. That is absolutely correct, cutie. Okay, so let's come in here. Um, we might need to put those other usages back for the moment, and then we're gonna go through this migration process. So this guy here wants those properties currently embedded to be in place. If anybody wants to follow along at home, dingle hoppers. Oh, now I've got Arial stuck in my head. Um, okay. That's right. And then we got to run these lovely little formatters that, if I remember right, are mildly annoying. Okay, terminal, close. Wish the terminal was available. Okay, so from here, be big. CD tests, and then I want WPF tests. Yeah, that one. And we're just going to start running these one at a time. That'll take a hot second while we let the analyzer do its thing. Thank you. One. Then paste. And then remove the automatically added global using. So we need to revert this step and then run the last two after this. That's fine. We'll come down here, revert this, discard changes, and then go here. Oh, and close that. Paste. And then we go here. Patiently twiddle my thumbs. Or impatiently twiddle my thumbs. Here, I thought this was going to be a quick and easy thing. If 500 errors was quick and easy. Okay, so we did that. Perform any manual bits that are still necessary. You're good to go. Okay.
Well, it claims that I have done it.
Let's see how much of it cleaned up for me. Because last time it did an okay job, but we got bit by it only updated the first test in every file, which was mildly annoying. By mildly annoying, I mean excruciatingly painful. Okay, did you update? You didn't update any of these. Did I miss a step or something? Oh, I didn't install the T-Unit package into my test project. So, pro tip, read all the directions, not just the second step. That's what the professionals do. Let's see, that goes there. Why is LMNOP? Something like that. Okay, so that goes there. That goes there. Great. We need to put you back in. I am going to, let's see, to your test project. Okay, and then we are going to go back and rinse repeat this one more time. So save, close Visual Studio. I learned that the hard way too. It is not okay with having an IDE lock files while you're trying to do this. Okay, though I suppose what I should see here on some of these is I should start to see, metric ton of changes That should have been hit number 1.
Really glad that all developers, no matter how many years,
Go through the same emotions when troubleshooting. Yes. Yes. All the feels. Okay. Okay, see now it's at least doing things now. That makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Okay, warm fuzzy feelings are coming back. Grab 53. It's comforting. Yes, don't worry. Typically on this stream, it's not demoware. It is we get to experience all of the pain and the suffering that goes through in doing this. Okay, that there. We do 9. Paste. I will say, just the fact that this testing library has built analyzers to go through and do the conversion for you, like, that's a level of effort that a lot of library authors do not do. I don't do it, or I think any of my libraries. Like, there's a lot of polish on this. For this being a new kid on the block, it's this is definitely the cool kid on the block. Now we need to revert this bit. Discard. Thank you. Then we will continue on with these. Paste. We'll grab the last one while that one's running. Twiddle my thumbs. Ooh, still have Mountain Dew left. Sweet. Sleep is optional. Sleep is optional. Today was kind of my Friday. Tomorrow I don't have to do coding. I have to do a, we'll call it a leadership retreat / training. So, unfortunately means not likely to write a line of code tomorrow at all. Okay, so this does all of this. Now, let's see. Remove manual bits that are still necessary. Remove XUnit packages. Great.
would love to do so. Okay.
Relaunch, rinse, repeat. Okay, so we're just going to burn XUnit to the ground. That makes me feel better. I am surprised that if I delete a package out of my directory packages props, that I don't get a useful error. Like, I would have expected the projects that were still referencing XUnit to say, hey, couldn't find a correct version for XUnit rather than version range is null. Like, that's not a useful error message. Just surprised it's not better. Feels like it should be better. Okay. So, let's start with this. Build. Right. Let's see. TUnit asserts 0002. Didn't we run one of those? This one here. I'm surprised this one didn't get applied. Assert statements must be awaited. Yeah. Apply that fix, please. Thank you. Don't make me think that hard. Rows exactly. Bring that in. I don't want to have to reference this. So I am a big fan of doing cheap stuff like that where we use global using. So some people like to do C# global usings in a C# file. I prefer doing it in my CS proj or similar because this allows me to leverage MS Build. So then if I want to share it between projects or do conditionals or what kind not, I just find it easier. What is your problem? Use expression body for method. I don't actually care about that. Let's see. Class data source shared per class. Huh. Great. And now you can see the using is unused, so Control RG cleans it up. Okay. Just see what else is we got. Okay, so we have STA theory and inline data. I thought one of these guys had a conversion for inline data. And I know there's an STA option as well. So, data-driven tests. Yeah, inline data gets replaced with arguments. So we're going to just blindly find and replace that in the current project. Don't use regular expressions. Send it. There. Okay, that gets me a good chunk of the way there. Missing test attribute. So STA theory, I don't really want to change. We need to look at what the STA equivalent is. So STA is single-threaded apartment, as opposed to multi-threaded apartment. And this does not refer to lodging. It refers to the type of thread that is created. Typically, STA threads are going to be like your UI threads, because in a lot of UI frameworks, only one thread at a time is allowed to touch your UI elements. Versus background threads or MTA threads, they're just kind of the worker bees that are off to the races, right? Your STA thread is like your queen bee, who controls the situation, and then all of your drones are your MTA threads. Where is, I don't see it. T unit testing STA thread. I remember we saw it before. Requires thread. This is not T unit. That is N unit docs. Bum. Where is search in here? STA. Someone show it to me. STA thread tests. That looks like what I want. Show me how you work. Hook executor. I don't really care about these. Yeah, so you'll see here they're literally just testing for the get apartment state on the current thread. So this claims that that is the replacement. It's not an attribute class. I have empirical evidence to the contrary. Okay, it is not. So then how the heck is this compiling? Am I an idiot? Not an attribute class. What are you? There's the attribute. Unit core executors. Oh, they've got. Oh, that's dirty. That's dirty. Okay, so here's what's going on. Let me just do this real quick to confirm. Oh, come on. Don't make a liar out of me. Don't make a liar out of me. Where is this attribute? Is this like in a new, what's the history on it? Last month. Great. When was the, okay. Hang on, we might have to rev a version. Dedicated thread executor. Yeah. Okay, so what version are we on? That might make a big difference here. Manage NuGet packages. So I think what has happened is there is both a look at that is that there is both a class and an attribute. Now, they don't have duplicated class names, but when you're declaring an attribute, you don't have to type the attribute suffix part of the name. Because of that, I think what is going on is they look like they yeah, see, there we go. Okay, so solution is to rev your version like that. And we are going to do this. Boom, replace all. 82 occurrences. That will save me a lot of errors. Okay, and then MoveLX unit is a given. Okay. Let's see here. Assert does not contain a definition for equals. See, and this is what I noticed before, is that it was like it hits some of the asserts, but not all. I suspect there is a bug. Oh. Oh, I wonder. I wonder if that is an issue with the old NuGet package. That I don't know that it's worth going back and fixing, but I wonder if that's an issue with the old package, which is that would make a lot of sense. Oh, that would make a lot of sense. Is equal to, it's going to be more typing for me. Trying to decide how much I care. Let's see. Assert that. On one hand, I don't mind typing a little bit of this because I feel like I want to build the muscle memory on this. In foreground is equal to, and I think I can go and is not equal to default. So it allows me to combine the two asserts into one now, which is nicer. I like that. I like that. Okay. How bad is it? Let's see. How bad is it? How bad? Come on. Think. That's a lot. 200. Okay. Let's see how many of these we can kill in one shot. Find and replace with empty string. Replace all. Okay. That killed off 19 of them. What is your problem? It's not an attribute class. We just did this a second ago. I think you will find that it is. I would like to make this a global using. I'm surprised that in their generated global usings, that's not part of them. Feels like that should be part of the global usings. Okay, so these are just all assert equals. Okay, so let's break out our regex coding. Guess we'll do it in Visual Studio. So I would like to find, let's see, white space, at least one character, followed by assert dot equal, and the dot needs to be escape so I get a literal, yeah. I know, cutie, I know. As the old adage goes, you solve a problem with regex, and now you have two problems. But in this case, I think it's okay. And I say that, and I'm gonna immediately hate it. Let's see. Expected is going to be any character that is not a comma. At least one repetition, or I should say, one or more repetitions, followed by any amount of white space. And actually, let's allow any amount of white space here, followed by a comma, followed by any amount of white space, followed by a named capture group that is actual, which is going to be any character that is not a closing curly brace. Like, this is going to totally hose me. This is totally going to hose me if there are strings, because I'm not dealing with that, and I'm not even going to try. This is just to get me close. Some number of repetitions. That closes the capture group. Any amount of white space following it with a literal closing paren followed by a semicolon. See, how simple is that? It's just that. And then obviously we then replace it with await, assert. I want to look at the one that we just did to make sure I get this right. Nope, not that one. Something more like that. My brain hurts just looking at it. That's how you know that you're still sane. Let's see. Assert that, and then we would like to plug in. What is the replacement for? Is it $name? I think it's $. I think is the appropriate replacement. No, assert that actual is equal to expected. I think that's the way that it works. We're gonna go here, and we're gonna go find next. Oh, the following specified text was not found. Really? Let's turn on regular expressions. Let's try this again. There, we found one. Great. I would like to replace exactly one of them. That is, so it didn't get, how do I do $curly brace name? Hey, I was close. I was close. I had 1 out of 3 of the characters right. So it looks like that, I think. Place next. Okay. That gets me to there. I need to undo that, and I need to add in a space at the beginning because we're capturing this space here, and I don't want to deal with capture but exclude. Send it. Send it. 140 errors. Gone. What? Why did it only do the first one? What did I do wrong? So why did you not match this one? Oh, because there's a paren in it. Let's change this from here to this. Find next. Replace next. There. Place all. Send it. There's another 63. Okay. Okay. Actually, can I now auto code my way to victory here? Make method async. Fix and document. I just want to test to make sure that this is actually going to do this. No, don't. Why are you trying to add in the extra stuff? Don't do that. Make method async. No. You'll go async void, but you won't do async task without putting in the diff tags. Why? It's not a consider. It's a do it. Oh my word. You are a worthless piece of garbage. Okay. Why will you not just do what I want? I'm seriously tempted to try to find the regex to hunt these guys out, but I think these ones might just be faster to do this way. Because there's not going to be that many of them. Okay, so assert true. This is going to be await assert that is true. Software being smart and dumb at the same time. I know, it's horrible. It is absolutely horrible. Okay, assert. We'll see how many of these we run into. I kind of suspect there won't be that many of them. And that these things will all just kind of die. Okay. That one. Okay, oh, we didn't do the STA theory replacement. We did the STA fact replacement, didn't we? Yeah, so we need STA theory, and we want to replace with test STA thread executor. Send it. Oh, that's not good. That's very, very, very. That's not a good thing. What did it match? Oh, I left regular expressions turned on. Oh, frick. I I hate myself right now. Crap. Hypothetically, Control Z. That did I seriously just Control Z my way back to victory? Oh, hang on, cutie, 1 second. Oh. Uh. There you go. That should hopefully stop blocking you. Nightbot's a little too aggressive at times. Okay. It didn't like. I I think it just worked, and I'm okay. Real quick, before we get carried away, we're just going to do a save point. Okay. Now let's continue. Holy crap, Visual Studio. Your undo buffer is insane. Absolutely freaking insane. I just. Okay. Regex is off. Okay. So that got me to there. Okay. We've got a not equal one here. We can probably do this. We can probably do the not equal very similar to this one. Assert not equal, and I want to be here. Assert that is not equal to. Place next. Let's see what I do wrong here. Assert not equal expected. Oh, you got to turn on regular expressions for that to work. Place next. And that just worked. Okay, we're going to replace all there. Great, it fixed one. Almost had a heart attack. Yeah. Yeah, that was almost very, 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 very bad. Okay. And on a positive note, this is cleaned up a ton. Like, we're totally running code cleanup on this when we're done. I think most of these are going to be stop being void and start being something useful. Wow, that's going to be brutal. Assert that hold on, we're going to write this one alongside. Oh, wait. This code looks like it needs a bit of cowbell. You're not wrong. Assert, let's see. Is greater than last saturation. I think do not populate this value. There's a way. Oh, because that's the. It's like there's a way to specify the message. Like I know there's a way because I think I spent the first time we did this spending time digging through the docs to find it. So I know it's there. Okay, let's do the true ones since we're seeing enough of these. Assert. Let's see. So this is gonna be assert true. And we're gonna call this expression, and it's going to end up being. Actually, it'll be any. No, I think we could do any character because this thing's gonna be greedy. We don't care about that. We do want trailing white space. We don't care about actual. We do want a literal thing there. This should match. Find next. Good. Assert that. This becomes expression is true. Like that, I think. So let's do replace next. Great. Send it. 14 more errors gone. Okay. On a positive note, this is getting like we should. I know it was a lot of errors, but it should be getting in the realm of reasonable here in a moment. Rating bar test apparently has some issues. Yeah, I botched something in here, big time. Let's see here. So let's just fix these ones because they clearly didn't get cleaned up properly. There, 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 there. Like, I do not understand how their analyzer got one but not the other. Whoops. But I think we were fairly low. By fairly low, I mean a mere 232 errors. Weren't we at about that the first time? It feels like that number didn't get smaller despite the mass find and replaces. Probably the compilers, that's how far it got before it finally gave up and was like, you're an idiot. Yeah. A mere 200. A mere 200. I will be very excited. I want to do some pipeline runs because there's a decent number of tests in this project or in this solution. I want to see if there is a oh, we can clean that up too while we're in here. I want to see if there's a noticeable performance bump after doing this. Like that I expect that there will be. But aside from seeing other people report that they got good performance bumps, I have no other evidence to suggest that it would. Uh, let's see, assert. Maybe we should do this one as find and replace as well. So let's do assert not null expression. Assert that expression is not null. Send it. Okay. Why do you show unused? Oh, you aren't unused. It's just that we can gain a performance bump by not using the interface. Great. And then you are declared incorrectly for your parameter type with nullability. So for WPF, the converter, the default WPF interfaces are not decorated for nullability. So they are in the unknown case. So even though this doesn't have a question mark, it's unknown whether it's nullable or not, which means you treat them like nullable. I generally, because they haven't been decorated yet, it gives you the freedom to pick which way you want your project to do. I generally treat target type and culture as non-null because this it's usually fairly safe to assume that WPF isn't broken and that that's going to work there. Oh, I forgot the return types on the other one. So we're even catching bugs. I mean, this is an internal class, so it's not that big of a deal. But we should clean these up while I see them. Because at one point in time, I went through the entire project and tried to get nullability enabled properly for the entire thing. And I think I got like a solid 70% right the first try. I thought I was higher when I did it, and then I was promptly proven to be an idiot. And that's okay. That's why we do open source, because then other people can see our mistakes and hopefully help make it better. Or point and laugh. It's really 50-50. Though I will say, surprisingly, despite how much people say that there's a lot of like negative things and whatnot, and I'm probably about to jinx it, I don't like. I feel like on this project at least, the people who actually like show up on the repo and open issues and PRs, like there's been a handful of trolls, but I can probably count them on one hand in the last like 4 years. It's not been many, which has been remarkably refreshing. And I realize I say that and I'm probably about to just, get slammed because, that's the way it goes. But it has been remarkably similar. It's kind of the same thing with like YouTube comments. Like people always say how YouTube's a cesspool of feedback, and for some reason I don't feel like I get as many as I see other people receiving, and I don't really have a good explanation as to why. I'd like to think it's my friendly face. but I'm fairly confident that that is 100% wrong. Okay, so that goes there, that goes there, that goes there. This whole file is just an absolute mess. Okay. I mean, on a positive note, we have tests. On a negative note, they're kind of, it's definitely the friendly face. Why, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't fully believe it, but I appreciate it. Okay, so what kind of mess did I leave myself up here? So I made an absolute nightmare of a mess out of this. Let's go here. And what are you wanting to do here? Object initialization can be simplified. No, no, you cannot be. Line 427, fix the variable declaration. Thank you. See? People helping. 427. Oh, thank you. Got it. Got it, got it, got it. Good spot, good spot. And you'll note my cheater way of doing this is I type var and then let the compiler type in the full type name for me because I am way too lazy to type in that many characters. VAR even feels like a lot at times. See, like I said, the people who help out on this project, remarkably kind and helpful. So, Bananatron, thank you. Let's change this out. So for those people confused about why doing this, here is the explanation. Right? So concrete types are more performant than going through interfaces because at runtime, it has to effectively do lookups and figure out where things where the actual method things work. So this might be a fun stream at some point. I am an amateur when it comes to debugging the .NET runtime, but I know more than enough to be dangerous. It's kind of cool to go through and look at the method tables for objects because when the .NET runtime starts, you can imagine there's this big Excel spreadsheet that says where in memory all of these functions are located at. And when you're on a concrete type, it's very easy. It's the method is here. It's a single lookup. But when you go through an interface, that's a virtualized call, and virtualized calls we now have to take inheritance hierarchies into account. So same with like virtual methods. So you'll see recommendations to not make a method virtual unless it's going to be overridden, or you'll see recommendations to make a class sealed or similar. Effectively, what it does is that method lookup when it's going through the table to try to figure out, okay, which memory address do I need to jump to? If it doesn't have to look up where that is and it's just a straight, here's the row, here's the memory address, jump, that's much faster than if it has to go, well, this is virtual. Let me check if the derived types override this. Okay, let me go there. So like in cases like this where it's entirely internal, yeah, there's no reason not to. Now, I will say this analyzer does fall over. I got bit by it on my day job at one point because somebody had written a default interface member. So they actually like wrote oh, I can't do it here, but they actually wrote the function inside of the interface, which you can do now. And the analyzer doesn't take that into account. And when you convert to the concrete type, you then can't invoke that default interface member. That was exciting. So take that with a grain of salt, or just don't use default interface members. Which they are great, but they serve one very specific purpose, and I feel like they get abused for a lot of other purposes that they should not be used for. So in general, I discourage them. Or at least I should say, I tell people not to use them unless they can explain why they need it, right? Like, part of being a senior engineer is learning how to say the phrase, it depends. So if you want to be a senior engineer, memorize that phrase and you're halfway there. Because there are very few things that are black and white. There are guidelines and rules, and the important thing is knowing when should I break them. Step 1, understand the rule and why it exists. Step 2, then find all of the cases where you break it. See, Angel Blade, you got it. You got it down. You are halfway there. See? Bingo. See, we're going to have a whole team of senior engineers in here shortly. Let's see. So I think I might just write this one. Assert that result. Let's see. This is wanting to assert that the result coming back is a solid color brush. So is of type. Is type of. Is this not a generic? Ah, there is a generic overload. Thank you. I should see. Just assume T units got my back. Boom. Does it return the object? That would be even cooler. No, that would make my life too easy. Let's see here. We're gonna go here. We're gonna bring this down, and we're gonna just make you a linear gradient brush. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So we might need to look at this one here because I don't know what the heck I messed up. So rating bar, let's say 189. Close you. Oh, that's the real one. Go down here, collapse. I'm gonna just move you down. I need more space. I've got my zoom set a little big. Rating bar tests in this vicinity. So what was it before? Great. So I broke this on my prior commit, probably when I made a checkpoint. Let's go back and look at this. Yeah, I saw the early paren here, and I'm very confident I broke this when I did my mass find and replace. But I was just gonna look and see what it was before my find and replace because I think that will be. Ah, okay. So this is what it was before. Copy change lines. I hope. I don't know when it says copy change lines. Oh, good. It did copy what I wanted. Thank you, Get Kraken. You did what I liked. Okay, so I do like how it kind of mixed and matched things. Thank you, cutie. Have a good night. And absolutely, I'll catch you later. I will see if I can drop in on your streams. For people who are interested, cutie, if you want to drop a link to your thing, or if people want to just click on your name and jump over to it, feel free to go give her a follow. Okay, so let's see here. So we were doing assertions that start point was 0 and 0.5. Okay, so let's do await, assert that. Got to do it backwards. I'm gonna have to wrap my brain around it. Assert that is equal to new point and 0.5. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. And this is 1 and 0.5, and then endpoint. And then whack all that. Copy this because I'm fairly confident I'm about to need it in the very next test. Kind of like that. 0 and 0.5, 1 and 0.5. Great. And then you need that as well. Yeah. Absolutely love my T unit. Oh, go Copilot. You are my friend. Okay. This might be another one where I go and look up what it was. Yeah, my. Okay, so this is 230-ish. Let's see here. Copy, change lines. And then let's just do paste. So this was verifying that the offset. Wait, is stop offset a double? Oh, good question, engineering love. Yeah, so it's kind of weird. So this is something that is it is it is a T-sync or T-sync. Let me try that again. It is a T-unit idiosyncrasy of the way they have set up their assertion libraries where everything is async. Now, it's actually kind of clever. Let me go up here real quick. Right? So this guy here, if we look, it's not really async because it's asynchronous. Like this might take a fun little bit to wrap the head around a little bit. Invocable the yeah. So this is the yeah. Async is nice, but there's an important thing to know about async is you can await anything that is awaitable. Most of the time when people learn TPL, async and await in C#, they often get taught that what you return a task and you await your task. And that's true, but there are other types that you can await as well. Value task is another one. But just because something's awaitable doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go async. It's just that async and await are the language keywords. So this is the base class of the thingy being returned, and you'll note it has a get awaiter. Any type that has a get awaiter method that returns a type that has the appropriate signature of an awaiter. Again, so this is all duck typing. Which this guy does, can be awaited. So they've made their assertions awaitable for the purpose of being able to abuse the way the compiler is going to do it to generate their assertion or to effectively generate the assertion chain inside of here. It's very clever. So even though these things are declared async, they aren't actually going async in I think most cases. Because I'm looking for where it actually and this looks recursive. I would probably have to pull their source code. There's I think the primary reason for doing this is being able to get the information back as an expression. And by getting the information back, I mean getting the things that are the expected and actuals back as an expression, which allows you to then generate very nice looking error messages on a failure. Now, it's weird because they aren't passed in as expressions. And so this is 100% abusing newer C# language features to do things that other assertion libraries don't do. So yeah, async and await for validation. Interesting. It is like at some point I want to dig through their repository and look at it and fully understand how it's doing it. But from looking at it initially, that appears to be the thing. It's not actually going async because I looked at this initially and went, that seems horribly inefficient. But the other thing to know is async and await may not, even in real production code, may not ever go asynchronous. If the task or the object returned from an awaited method is already in a completed state, the TPL has built-in logic to short circuit, because if the task is already completed, why bother actually doing threading stuff and getting it going? It's already completed. Let's just grab that result and continue on. It's much more efficient. That's kind of functionally what's getting abused here. Is there's not that actual continuation. It looked like in most cases, it's just ripping through. So it's a weird setup completely agree, and it's mildly obnoxious that on the migration you have to then async task every single one of your tests. Um, yeah, it is definitely using it in a weird way, and this was one thing that I had considered because, again, I favor this library being easy for people to contribute to, and I worry a little bit about async stuff because, especially for somebody who's potentially new to C sharp, async and await is really nice once you know it, but it can be intimidating and difficult until you do. And so it's like, but it's, my opinion currently sits at async and await is one where I would rather teach and elevate somebody who doesn't know it rather than dumbing it down to meet that level, right? Like there's some give and take there of when do you pull somebody up versus when do you go, maybe we dial this back down, right? And especially in an open source library where I'm trying to make it easy for people to contribute to it, I it's a balancing act. And so I am very open to feedback and critique if it's like this is too complicated for me to work with. But at least what I've seen for a lot of people coming to the project with async stuff, even if they don't know async and await, if the pattern's already laid out in front of them, they just replicate the pattern in front of them and then everything just works. It's like even if they don't know it, I do the pattern the compiler told me to. This is what all the other tests are doing. Oh, it works. Great, I'm done. Right? So I'm kind of thinking it's in that category. See, I usually have people do web requests with async and await when first introducing them to the concept. Yeah, that's a good one because you can pretty much guarantee that it's actually going to go asynchronous on them without delay. It's actually one that is I've contemplated actually doing some PowerPoint slides for it. Like, I generally don't like teaching any coding stuff with PowerPoint, but for a handful of things, I think it's actually nicer because then you can actually kind of show the concurrency stuff happening and what's going on behind the scenes. It's always difficult to do that with real code. And so I think because the company I work for, we teach a C sharp class at a local university. And I think the homework assignment that we usually do when we get around to having people do um, async and await stuff does do a web service call with HTTP client. Partly because I think we also throw disposable at them, and HTTP client is a nice curveball. It's a dirty curveball, but we tell them it in class, so it favors the students that show up to class and pay attention. Yeah, system IO is kind of pointless in a lot of cases. Yeah, and in some cases it's actually slower. And that's the weird part. Like a lot of the IO stuff got the async and await decorations on it around the Windows 8 timeframe, with the WinRT APIs and all of that stuff coming into play. And it's not bad, but yeah, in some modern hardware, it can potentially be faster to just file write all text rather than doing any of the async stuff. Let's see. Do awaitable objects return control to the event loop? I don't know C sharp. Oh, that is oh, engineering love. You are asking a great question. Yes. I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to put a huge asterisk next to it and explain a little bit more. Yeah, that is the intent. So when you hit and obviously these are bad examples, but when you see an await keyword in C sharp, the intent being that that the thing to the right of it evaluates, returns back an object that can be awaitable, and if it's not already completed, um, control returns back to the event loop, and then once that object completes, it then continues on from this point forward. So the compiler helps kind of building up that state machine because there's like I just skimmed over a lot of details when I said it returns back and starts executing here. Like there's a lot that goes into that, especially like cancellation, exception flow, all of that stuff is all kind of wrapped up in 5 little letters. So yeah, but in general, that's the intent: is that the thing to the right of await is evaluated until it can return back that awaitable object. And I say evaluated that way because sometimes it'll invoke an async method, and to get that object, it has to execute the first half of the method to get the return. to be awaited to come back to finish the second half of the method. So a lot of times it's kind of like that. But again, if the object returned is already in a completed state, it doesn't actually hand back control. It goes, nah, this is already done. I'm not gonna return control, come back and do all of this context switching. There's a lot of overhead in that. I'm just gonna keep executing. It's much quicker. So in general, yes. Um, yeah, compilers do some weird stuff. Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite things to mention to people is C sharp is not always executed. Like your statements in C sharp may not be executed in the order that you write them. Like that always bothers people when I go, the stuff you write may not be executed in the order you write it, and like people's minds explode because they're like, what? Now you probably never realize this because the compiler is intelligent and has a pretty good idea of dependencies between things and will not reorder things in a way that is detrimental. Right? If it did, we would have bugs in C sharp all the time. But there are times, especially in like loops, where optimizations can be made by going, you know what, if I actually increment this thing first and then do the swap versus swap and then increment, I can save myself some CPU instructions. So usually it's at a lower level where functionally you can't tell in your code. And especially in debug versus release builds, right? Like debug builds in general, you're going to get what you have as stated. Um, but again, it's one of those things that it could happen. For fun, you can look up memory barrier in C sharp if you want to read all kinds of exciting stuff about when you need a memory barrier. I have needed a memory barrier precisely once in my entire career of nearly 2 decades. Yeah, almost 2 decades. And I do some wacky C sharp crap. So, as somebody who does wacky C sharp stuff, only ever needing the feature once, yeah, it's like it never comes up. It never comes up. It's very very rare. Um, yeah, write program, compile, open in net reflector, dump code, compare, be confused. Um, yeah. So in this case, these awaits are always going to be in the completed state already. I think. What I have seen inside of the T-unit code is that the returned objects from these are always in the completed state, and so they functionally execute synchronously without ever doing any thread context switching, and they're only here to abuse a C sharp feature known as expression trees to be able to get access to these variables and gen real nice looking things. I think. Again, I haven't dove too deep into it. Yeah, and Angel Blade, it does get interesting because C sharp is another weird one as well because like you dump code, depending on how you compile, the code you are probably dumping is probably IL, intermediate language. You'll see some people also reference it as MSIL is the old name, Microsoft Intermediate Language, or CIL, Common Intermediate Language. And it looks a lot like if people have ever looked at like x86 assembly or similar, it's not too different from that, but IL is not quite assembly, but it's close to assembly so that the runtime can easily translate it to the needed architecture instructions when it gets there, right? But you can also compile C sharp now, AOT, and go straight to platform specific code immediately so that there isn't that translation layer at runtime, which is known as the JIT, the just in time compiler. It's what takes your IL, converts it to x64, ARM, whatever you're running on, which is how C sharp can compile for any CPU. Is it really can't, but it can compile to IL code, and then the runtime on the platform can convert that IL code to ARM, x64, x86, whatever, right? And so it gets you all the way there. Yeah. I love when people use const and they don't realize that the value is generated at compile time, not runtime. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, like there, and this is why, like, I don't know if you were here at the beginning. Let me grab that link real quick. Spokane.net user group. I absolutely love all of this stuff and find Find it absolutely fascinating. I'm giving a user group talk first week in June, the 3rd of June. This will be streamed via YouTube. And if you miss it afterwards, it will be on Intelitech's YouTube channel. So if you want to sign up to get the YouTube link right away, go to the meetup link and join. Otherwise, if you just search Intelitech on YouTube, you can find their channel, and I'm sure I will post links to it as well when it's up. But I'm going to go through kind of the history of C Sharp, because I think some of these C Sharp features, it helps knowing that history to kind of understand how we got here. Like even that idea of JIT versus AOT is like, why was that needed? How did it actually get all the way there? Like some of the reasons of why C Sharp is the way that it is because of the maturing thing, the maturing process over the years, right? Like there was a great quote I saw a couple weeks ago where it's, and I'm probably going to butcher it, something along the lines of no complicated system just spawns effectively. It starts from something simple and is built upon in layers and slowly is built up, right? So small working layers added on top of each other is how you end up with a working complicated system. It's rare that you go from zero to big complicated working system and have it actually work, right? Like that's the idea of people biting off more than they can chew. It's like, no, start small, make it work. Then add on a little more, make it work. Add on a little more, make it work. Add on a little more. Like, and you can get yourself quite a very big complicated system, and it may seem simple when you look at it at the end. It's like, oh, I could have built that from scratch. It's like, well, it's remarkably difficult to get all of the, the cogs lined up and the teeth and the gears and everything just so. But if you started small, it's actually not that bad, right? It's almost like building one of those Lego sets, right? You follow the steps, you build the small pieces, you put the pieces together. If you tried to build it from scratch, you got to be one of their like master Lego builder people. But yeah, if you are interested, that will be a very fun talk. I honestly am struggling to figure out, like, I'm going to have to move really quick because I plan on doing C Sharp 1 to C Sharp 14, and I've got an hour. That's like a little over 2 minutes of version. I'm going to be going fast. Like, it's going to be C Sharp history, the highlights reel. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pass with Kubernetes. Yeah. Yeah, that is absolutely true, engineering love. And that's the thing is, like, my day job, I work for a professional services company, consulting functionally. And there's a lot of times where companies are like, yeah, we want to use Kubernetes. It's like, why? Do you have a team that's going to support this? Because like Kubernetes is great and has insane power of what you can do with it, but you absolutely need at least a couple people that are whose job it is going to be to manage that crap for you. Like if you've got that and you're willing to do that investment, great. Like you can get some cool stuff out of it. Otherwise, maybe not. Like it is a rabbit's hole, and there is a lot there. It's really cool and it's awesome. It's like I love standing up. The first project I did, we were standing up a high availability system for a fintech company. Um, and so multiple clusters, multiple regions, um, data synchronization, scaling, peering the VNets together. Like it was intense. At one point in time, we had a $20,000 Hello World application running. Um, that was not good. Don't do that. That was bad. But it was a really highly available Hello World application, and it went burr, which was sweet. I completely forgot what I was doing here. Right. Stop offset. I'm surprised. I'm surprised we have assert equals 10. This is an epsilon when you're doing double floating point comparison in XUnit. That's a very big epsilon for something that's 1/10. I need to expose GPU compute as a resource, so NVIDIA GPU K operator is the way to go. Plus, handling multi-tenancy and underlying AWS without Kubernetes would be far more painful. 100% agree. Based on that, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that this is some sort of AI project. That's like when I see NVIDIA GPUs with a K8s operator, I'm assuming this is an AI project of some kind. And one of the purposes of running that is you've got an LLM that you're doing something fun with. I hope. Because admittedly, it sounds kind of cool. It's a platform for ML pipelines. Yep, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Like we've been building several uh, AI related projects, and it is like
it is cool. It is so awesome when it works, and it is shockingly difficult to get all the pieces in line. But yeah, no, that looks cool, engineering love. Have you done much Kubernetes in the past, or is this a new thing for you? So I want to is close to. Let's see. Is is equal to, but I want a precision. Is there a precision here? The quality compare. Not quite what I want. I want a precision for the floating point. Is less than between default is even. Like I could do between. Just surprised there's not a. Oh, I think I remember. We got bit by this before. I think I wrote one. Is close to. Yeah. Let's see, a fair bit, but not a DevOps engineer. I'll let you get back to your work. Oh no, don't feel bad at all. I tell people on this stream I am very happy to rabbit trail. It is. I come in with an idea of what I want to work on, but when people show up with interesting things, I will absolutely run off the rails chasing it. I could have sworn I wrote it is close to. Yeah, this thing. I did write it. Crap. I put it in a project that I can't reference. That is disappointing. Where can I put it that it gets shared across to both of these? Because I don't have a shared project between these. Kubernetes, my game server rack wouldn't be too much without it. Yeah. One of my colleagues, when I think this was like 6 or 7 years ago, in an effort to learn Kubernetes, basically spun up a small cluster with a bunch. He had I don't know, maybe half dozen Raspberry Pis. And I think that was the moment like Kubernetes started to click for me of, oh, it's making more sense now. Because it was shocking how much juice he got out of, I think they were Raspberry Pi 2s or something. It might have been 3s. I don't remember. But the amount that he was able to run on it was shockingly high. Because it's like, oh yeah, I deployed out like this SMTP server. I've got my web stuff around. I'm like, it's like, really? Like, I've got a couple pies at home, and if I put that much on them, they like keel over. It's like I've got a little retro pie for gaming stuff and like a pie hole for killing ads and whatnot. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna copy paste because I don't see a simpler path forward here. And file linking would be better, but I'm going to end up with fighting namespaces, and I don't want to deal with that right now. So what I heard was copy paste, change namespace, done. And then bippity boppity booyah. And what is your problem here? Let's see. Type double cannot be used as type converter. Oh, am I gonna get? Oh, I'm gonna get hosed by frameworks. Oh, I'm gonna get hosed by frameworks.
It picked up 2 of those PS5 XBX BC250 rack mount units, 12 nodes in each, so 24 nodes total. Solid state storage on the network, so I can mount and boot from. Dang! My system's not as cool as that.
No, I moved back in September, and unfortunately,
There's a reason I'm running a green screen behind me because I've got an unfinished basement behind me, and well, uh, hopefully before the end of the year, I finish the remodeling and I have a really nice setup. That's the plan. We'll see. We will see. Let's see. With a small number of nodes, you can trial and error and maximize resources with enough time on your hands. Solving the optimization problem for tons of nodes is impossible without something like Kubernetes. Yes.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Oy vey. So what's biting me on this is on this WPF test project. This right here, net 472. I am getting hosed because I used features in this that don't exist. And caller argument expression, that should be available. It must not be, because you'll note right up here, right? Like this is one of the easy ways to see this happen, right? If I go net 8, some of these should then start lighting up, or at least then work. See, so that fixes that, right? But then if I go back here, no bueno. Inaccessible due to its protection level. What? You're telling me it existed in 472 and they just hid it? Oh, oh, no, this is a enumerable async process. Okay, I was like, what? That's an okay. So one of my NuGet packages has it internally. That is annoying. Okay, so this would need to be re-implemented. This would need to be re-implemented. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna comment this here. I'm gonna ignore it for now because I don't know how I want to handle that yet. We're gonna just pretend like it doesn't exist, and we'll come back to it. And I want to think on it. And I've got more than enough errors to chase. So we're gonna chase some other errors, and then we'll come back to the rating bar test. We'll continue to the side because I don't know how I want to deal with you. In fact, I'm gonna delete this out of the project. Yeah, that's actually a reason to rewrite something different. So I could rebuild this, and I could rebuild it for double. Like I could do it the old-fashioned way. Right? Like I don't need to do it in this clever way. I could just rewrite this for double and float and probably just double. I couldn't get away with caller argument expressions. Actually, you know what? I'm realizing something. Does T unit support? Oh, wait a minute. Is that going to be a No, 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 no. I need to go look at the NuGet package. Please don't tell me that this doesn't have support for for old framework. Oh, okay, yeah, we're fine. We're fine. It's got support for all the things. Okay, okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. I realized I hadn't checked that, and I'm like, oh man, am I about to get screwed? Uh, let's see. BC 250 racks aren't that bad. They're like 1200. They're equivalent to an AMD 3600 and an AMD RX 57 GPU, 16 gigs of GDDR6 unified memory. Dang. Dang. Got two of them? I am jealous. Just a little though. Just a little. Um we killed off X units usage. Yeah, I think that runner may have been one of the key limiting factors there. Uh, um, that one's done. That one's done. Okay, so that should be all of them dead. We're gonna get rid of all of the X unit NuGet packages. There are 12 of them in each. Wow. That is a lot of juice. What are you running in that? Like is this like home setup or is this for something more? Like I know you said gaming server rack, but like that's a heck of a gaming setup. This is home. Dang. Color me impressed. Let's see here. I'm gonna do this. Oh, I just shot myself in the foot again. But Control Z, save the day. Don't make me do this over. Come on. Mostly Minecraft. Yeah, yeah, I know. This is twice I've done this engineering love. I did it earlier and I to be fair, when I did it earlier, it replaced like 46,000 times. Uh not happy. Try the edit menu. That does not fill me with confidence. Yes, I would like to undo. Uh, ID too strong. Okay. Well, that's why I made the save point earlier. Okay, I think what I've just decided is that at this point, if I am making those types of mistakes repeatedly, that is a signal that I should go to bed. I think that is what I am drawing the conclusion of because it is past midnight here and I did not get clearly enough sleep and my Mountain Dew is empty. So that's not a good sign. So that is probably killing me. So going to plan to get this rolling more. Hopefully have a lot of the Velopack stuff ready to rock and roll. Close the app. Don't save that file. Have a good night. Yeah, it doesn't show pending, but I definitely will give that a try because I think just walking away for a moment is probably the best thing to do. That way I don't like throw something because that's a distinct possibility in this kind of situation. So
But thank you for coming and hanging out, Angel Blade. Always good to see you. Engineering Love, great to have you around. As always, I'll be back again next week. Till next time, happy coding.